did get an update on Gilmore.
Okay.
And how that's going to look. And it appears that the text I got said we'll have a real chance to play this weekend.
Okay.
So that's I'm sure that he'll sit out and probably get treatment and not bang that shoulder around or anything, but it seems like everything's okay for him to be a part of that. So
I also think Tyler Smith is pretty key here.
And I asked about that one, and they were hopeful as well.
Cool.
There. So the question I said 73 hopeful, and the answer was yes. So we'll see how that all plays out for your Dallas Cowboys this weekend. Speaking of substitutes, I think you have to give. I know last night on the postgame show, folks were asking me about what I thought about Bass and Hoffman and the way they played. I tweeted out today that I thought it was a beautiful game for them, and I say beautiful in a way that these guys are not beautiful players. They're really not. They're not the most athletic. They're not the most sound.
Beauty's in the eye of the beholder, Broaddus. I mean, for you to make just a blanket statement like that and speak for us all, you know?
And it's really on Dawson's. That's Dawson's side of the game right there. He can tell you if they're a beautiful man or not.
Yeah.
He's really good at that.
Come on.
I do think Brian nailed it.
Okay, well then.
But I think
I redact everything I said.
Chiefs point holds though.
Yeah.
All right, look at that.
I think they were beautiful yesterday.
I mean,
we're back.
They played really, really well in that football, especially with Hoffman's situation of they literally talking to people with the Cowboys that Zack Martin, they knew about that like the morning of. That's how, I mean, they didn't have much warning about him, being out. And then all of a sudden he comes to the stadium and things are kind of bad for him. But
can we get details on like a sickness situation? Like, does he have to go hang out at the stadium and be sick at the stadium all day? Does he stay at the hotel on the road there? I mean, he did say the one redeeming quality about FedEx Field, the quantity of stalls in the locker room. Like, that's probably the number one stadium you want to get sick at. The quantity of toilets there for him to do what he needed to do.
That's why they're overflowing with feces.
Right, exactly.
Gosh.
Yeah, we connected dots, man.
They don't have enough damn plumbing.
It's disgusting.
I need to find out this, but I don't think he was on the field. I think that they kept him separate. Matter of fact, they had if he had to fly home separately, they were arranging that as well.
Steven mentioned that with KNC earlier.
Yeah, so they were talking about if having to maybe quarantine him a little bit, but it was flu and it was bad.
See, and that's what sucks too. Like the idea of having to get on a plane while sick. Like if I've got the flu, no thank you. I'm going to just post up in this hotel room until we clear it out. I'll see y'all, I don't know, Tuesday, whatever. I'm Zack Martin, 99 overall Madden.
Well, he got on the plane last night with his team and they were talking about he was just sitting in the seat, just blanket over his head kind of a guy. So
I bet, dude, that's a miserable place to be.
Well, he got better.
Everybody around you's partying, wearing the NFC East champion hats, and you're just trying not to puke.
And then
trying to regulate your temperature the whole time.
You're
sweating, but you're shivering.
The whole time. But great job by those two young guards in that football game of stepping up and making some plays. They worked very well together with Broaddus, the running game. They had some success in the running game because of the two young guys. The only thing that really, the one tip pass that ended up being an interception, and I felt terrible for Bass on this one, but he got grabbed. I mean, they should have called defensive holding on this play. John Ridgway, they're running a twist stunt, and Smith and Bass they're gonna pick up the twist, and then you get the looper coming over the top and Bass is trying to get back he's trying to get back inside, but he gets grabbed. And then that allowed the rusher to be able to come in and then tip the ball. You saw what happened on the interception there. That really nothing that Dak could do. He's trying to fit the ball inside to Gallup. Gallup was covered pretty well on the play. That would have been kind of a close play to begin with, but he was trying to get the ball inside. But unfortunately, Bass got pulled on the play, got held, and then he couldn't get back to get the block, or you probably wouldn't have had an interception there. I think the play that changed the game for the Cowboys was actually Donovan Wilson's interception. And this is when we talk about Fowler and what he's able to do.
Splash play guy, man.
This is a guy when Fowler is involved with the game, he doesn't play a whole hell of a lot. But when he is in on the rush, he generally can make things happen. And I think that, you talk about Bass getting grabbed, but Fowler did the same thing to Nick Gates, the center for the Commanders. And so what happens is Fowler's coming on the twist. He grabs Gates, and that gets Lawrence home on the rush right there. So when Lawrence is coming around there, he's able to work around the hold right there, and then he's able to go right directly into the quarterback there, into Howell, and then the ball he hits his arm, the ball flutters, but that sack, that pressure, that interception, everything was all on Fowler and his ability to do exactly what happened to Bass. Grab the lineman and then try and get your buddy home on that particular play.
Yeah, Wilson just had to bring it in, which he made a meal of.
Yeah.
But that is 2 games in a row with a pick for him.
Yeah.
Is this your best performing safety as we go into the playoffs now? Is he kind of heating up at the right time?
I'll tell you what, though, he's playing really well. The safety that's playing the best, it's playing as a linebacker, I think, is Bell. Yeah. And Bell, to me, I like your question, Dawson, about it, because I think the physicality that Wilson plays with, the awareness that he plays with, those things are all positive right now. But they run that 4th down play. They're going to run a screen. They get off the field on a 4th down. They throw the screen to Robinson going to the defense's right. Well, Clark. It's Clark and then Bell, and we haven't seen Clark play a game like he played yesterday. And I mentioned that in the crosstalk about how Dan's trying to move him off the ball and kind of play him behind the line so he could react quicker, play him a little bit more at depth, and then put Parsons underneath him and let Parsons run and go make the play. But then it frees up, and those blockers engage with Parsons, it frees up Clark to be able to run.
It's brilliant.
So
Smart.
it's a little bit of a scheme adjust from Dan Quinn. But on the particular play, you talk about the safeties. Bell, they're in that trips formation, and so once Bell sees the motion from Robinson, he immediately takes off running. He's thinking like, okay, here we are. Trips to my right, 3 wide receivers. Ball's going that way with the back going that way. That's
so that match. When you went back and saw the All-22, we talked about last night,
right.
His ability to read and diagnose.
He read that thing on a split second. As soon as he saw the motion, he took off running, and he knew they're going to throw a screen out here. And him and Clark were able to get to the outside and make the play. I think this is what we're starting to see from guys, especially like a guy like Bell. As much as he's having to play down in that box situation, I think he's starting to see things better, clearer, the reads. There was some coverage aspects in this game that he really had a really good game as Bell, as far as dealing with the crosser routes, dealing with the tight ends, dealing with receivers underneath him. I mean, he's doing a much better job of seeing the field and then reacting that way. All right, the punt block, and this is I should probably talk about. Let me talk about the field goal block first, on what happened there with the situation. We were all kind of hopeful that Aubrey would have to be able, he could get through this season, not miss anything, break the record. It's just unfortunate what happened on this, but there's a couple of things that doesn't work here. And when you look at how it played out, though, one side fans out, and that would be the right side fans out. So the left side has to fan as well. That's how they block. They block out and not inside. But what happened is that you got Broaddus fans out, but Steele doesn't. And so what happens, it creates a natural gap there. So there's that gap, and they're able to run right through that gap. And
Steele doesn't want to be told how to fan. I get it.
No. Well, when I mean fan, I mean it's to go, to block outside. You can watch one side and you can kind of see, okay, this is their technique. This is what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to fan to the outside, and then, they get one guy fan, the other one doesn't, and that now you create a gap right there. And unfortunately, though, Pryor the defensive end just ran right through it and blocked the punt, or excuse me, blocked the field goal there. The play where they had the block punt is an interesting one too, just because we've seen the Cowboys have this ability. We saw Sam Williams in the Buffalo game. If Sam Williams does, what Hendershot does, you're going to have 2 block punts, but they do a great job. It's just a clean rush. They don't block him at all. And really, what's surprising is though that how they allowed, we talk about man-on-man blocks and things like that. The Cox, the linebacker, number 41, just didn't even pick him up. He just let him go right by. And great job by Hendershot of taking the ball off the foot of the punter right there, Tress Way. The left-footed punter. He went right to where he needed to be. They had a shot, too, in the game to block a field goal. And
yeah, we saw one guy come free.
Wanye Thomas ran right past it.
Shout out to Wanye.
If Wanye kind of lays out, he's probably going to block, but he ran right past the ball, and the ball went behind him. And they got the field goal. So special teams had a factor in yesterday's game with the way that thing played out. But great play by with the interception with Donovan Wilson to get that game kind of turned around.
Loved it, Brian.
Thank you.
It was a perfect way to end the season and to crown the Cowboys NFC East champs once again.